hypnosis, EMDR, guided imagery, that I've looked into and researched, the system does start to get engaged. So how is that different than what?
So number one is that they all have their place, right? Okay. So, but unified is looking at not the individual technique or method, but what makes that technique or method work. And when you're talking about EMDR, for instance, the original developer, Shapiro, just started out in the park, moving her finger and looking at her eyes and noticing if she felt a difficult or traumatic memory. By doing that, by somehow what the belief was engaging left and right brain, it seemed to change its value of discomfort, right? And later on it went on to stimulate left and right brain, and that by doing that they also start to open up a doorway of memories that was not from traditional psychotherapy, right, and emotional. Now, was it scientific? Absolutely not. Was it completely wild and vague? Absolutely. But it worked. It worked in a way that traditional therapists got very excited, right?
Okay.
And so, but now we can understand, rather than getting stuck in the method, we can understand what works and actually use it to actually build a better spaceship, so to speak, build a better one, because it has its place, it has its limitations. There's only certain areas of trauma to work. It doesn't necessarily work for pain. And hypnosis, that's been around, and that is a very, very interesting area. No one even really understands it to this day. You know, we realize it's maybe in play all the time. But we're talking about completely different phenomena.
Tell us about that.
Nothing like that. What we're talking about is a self-generated, a developmental part that we actually develop and open up parts of our brain. A lot of the theory and the belief today is that the prefrontal cortex, with its main 9 major functions, which include affect regulation. What does that mean? Emotional regulation? I mean, this is one of the biggest searchers on the planet for human beings, is to be able to regulate their own emotions. Hence,
I don't want to. But I'm a kind of guy that's like, I don't do emotions. I don't do that.
Well, but that's the point. Whatever that is, that may be. But the point is, we have to look at the what's happening today is that there's ever increasing of things to regulate emotions. So benzodiazepines, like, you know, that are used, like Xanax and many of the others from that family, to try to down-regulate anxiety. So we're saying, whoa. This is, you're supposed to have the ability to regulate your emotion. It's something that happens when humans develop. And that the use of those things is only going to add bad. The same thing for antidepressants, etc., etc., etc. So we can make people less capable or more capable. Now, there is always going to people that are going to resist things right to the end. The ship is going down. No, this is the best ship in the world. The ship is not supposed to sink. But Captain, the ship is going down. It may be, the water is coming up, but this is the best ship in the world. That goes on all the time. Unfortunately, that is part of human nature. And we know that. And so an open mind probably is one of the most valuable things somebody could ever possess. And then we know as you get older, your mind generally doesn't get more open, it gets less unless you work on it. And it gets ingrained, and there's what we call neural pathways in our brain that if you keep firing the same pathway, that's all you're going to get. You can't see it any other way. And so you just keep firing. And so in unified therapy, what we try to do is develop new pathways, especially of the frontal cortex over the fear center, the emotional center.
You do that by what? How do you
by first understanding everything about the brain, understanding how those pathways are made, right? And then incorporating them into a practical basis. So often in neuroscience, you have this thing, you understand this or that, but it can't go anywhere because they don't have any practicality. So when we're saying, when you can take something as basic and ridiculously simple as a mirror and rewire the brain, and maybe for the first time offer relief or a cure for individuals who could never get any relief before, we're talking about phantom limb and other things, that's just the most basic. I use that as an example. Now, at Unified, we've incorporated all the different concepts. So what came out of EMDR is, okay, the importance of getting left and right brain and the importance of moving attention away from just talking about things to feeling about things. Because in EMDR, they always ask you on a 1 to 10, what are you noticing? What are you sensing? What are you feeling? That moves the brain away from distraction and dissociation, for you or those out there who understand that, to something being more present. In Levine's work, Peter Levine, great body of work, right, in somatic experience. So what they found was phenomenal, that if human beings just got still, human beings got present, and human beings feel safe, automatically the nervous system could start to release the stress and trauma, automatically. And the deal of the therapist was there to provide the support and the skill. So when this reaction happened, they didn't get frightened.